There we go.
Blue 22. Hike, hike, hike.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah, baby. We are back. Woo, doggy. It's been a long time. Clint is probably upset with us.
Oh, he mad.
Not only is he going to be upset with us because we were gone for so long, but we were gone for a very important thing that happened, which was the Bills were in the playoffs.
Another out of
And
the playoffs.
they almost won. They were so close. So close. But I consider that a very, very good season for the Bills. They are a super young team, super excited for their future. Still a little unsure about Mr. Josh Allen. Makes a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of real stupid mistakes, like boneheaded mistakes, things that you do not want out of the leader of your team. But their defense is solid. They have a very good secondary. They have a pretty good pass rush. Linebacking core is awesome. I'm really stoked about their offense. They just need a couple more key positions. I love Dawson Knox as their tight end. I think he's going to be a solid tight end.
Yeah, I like him.
I think he's good. I'm excited. I like Smoke as your second receiver. We just need that number one guy. Maybe because I don't know if Frank Gore is going to come back. But we might need somebody else to really carry the load. I like Singletary, but I'm just not sure he's going to be able to handle it because he's not the biggest of backs. So I'm not sure he's going to be able to handle the full load all year long. But he is quick. He is elusive, so maybe he can.
His yards per carry bother me a little bit.
Well, he's not big. He can't he's not a guy that's going to get you more yards after like the first tackle. After that first tackle, he's kind of going down. So it's not, but he's elusive. But he's not Barry Sanders elusive.
No.
So there's that issue.
He's a nice little player.
He's good. He's good. I like him. I just don't think he's the feature guy. So that's something that we'll have to kind of keep an eye on. But other than that, very successful season for the Bills. So yes, Clint, there you go. We are very, very, I'm very happy about that. Now,
and I will tell you as a Dolphins fan. So I
was going to ask you this question too.
So, what question are you going to ask?
I don't know what you were going to say. So I'll let you go. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to I'll give a similar wrap up to what you gave. Okay. So I'm certainly, obviously, I was a pro tanker. I admit it. Yep. I was a guy who wanted them to lose as many games as possible to get that number one pick. Nothing for me has really changed in terms of who I want them to take. I still want Tua. And now that Tua has declared he is very much in play, he should be in play. I don't want to say he should be in play. He may be in play for them at pick number 5. I think the Dolphins, the safe thing to do for them would be to use some of this draft capital that they've accumulated, trade up a couple of spots with Detroit, make sure they get into the 3rd spot. That will guarantee you Tua, because I can guarantee you, 1, Joe Burrow's going to Cincinnati, and 2, Chase Young is going to the Redskins. Okay. There's no doubt about that. Zero doubt that those guys are going 1 and 2. And that means that 3 is the spot where you want to get to. Now, I think Detroit will be very amenable to opening trade negotiations to move into that spot, because Detroit has a lot of needs, and they could really, really help their situation by trading down. And trading down with the Dolphins would be ideal for them, because then they only lose 2 spots, and they're going to pick up at least a 2nd-round pick as well. And the Dolphins have a couple of 2nd-round picks to spare. So I think if you're the Dolphins, you want to be safe, and Tua is your guy, assuming he is their guy, and I don't know that, but if he is, I think you have to make that move. Okay. Now, there's a couple things Dolphin-wise too that I'm a little bit happy about. One, there is a significant Dolphin imprint all over this postseason.
Yes, come on, that's what I
I
wanted to ask you how is this bittersweet, or is this just kind of like you're happy for Ryan Tannehill?
I am genuinely happy for him. And here's the thing with Ryan Tannehill. I think, and I put this tweet out there, and and I will stand by what I said. I said this a couple days ago after he went in and they pulled off the upset of upsets for this postseason, going into Baltimore and not just beating Baltimore, destroying Baltimore in Baltimore. I mean, really exposing that team in ways that you didn't think they could be exposed.
That defense is no joke.
And so I have to tell you though, I'm actually really happy for him, because the tweet that I put out there the other day was Ryan Tannehill is proof that coaching matters. Because now here's the thing, Ryan Tannehill's not blowing the roof off the joint with stats. I mean, in the last 2 games, he hasn't even thrown over 100 yards in either game.
Oh, yeah, I have. So he's. But in the first game, he went 8 for 15,
72 yards.
8 for 15 for 72 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. That interception was kind of fluky, though, I believe, right? If memory serves me correct. And then the second game, he was 7 of 14 for 88 yards with 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 1.
He rushed for a touchdown. Yes.
Right. So,
but the star of that game was Derrick Henry.
The star of the postseason is Derrick Henry.
He's been amazing. He's been outrageous.
But I'm happy for Tannehill, because I really do believe that he was partially, at least, the victim of really, really bad coaching between Joe Philbin and Adam Gase, combined with injuries, bad timing. But you know what though? When the Dolphins and Tannehill separated, it was the right move for both parties. It needed to happen. It was never going to happen for him in Miami. I'm glad it's happening for him in Tennessee. I hope that he stays there. In fact, I'm sure he will stay there. I'm guessing they'll sign him to an extension. Marcus Mariota will probably move on. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy for him. He has found a home. Now, the key for the Titans, though, if you want to continue to get success out of Ryan Tannehill, is you need to keep Derrick Henry too. Now, Derrick Henry is an unrestricted free agent this year, so the Titans could franchise him. But if you're the Titans, you need to sign him. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to sign him. Now, the Titans do have, I have a friend who pointed this out, the Titans do have a tendency of throwing big money at running backs. I think he joked that they were still paying Chris Johnson. So there probably is some precedent here for them to give him a monster deal, and he's going to make $12 million a year.
Derrick Henry reminds me of like a bigger, stronger, faster version of Eddie George, and Eddie George was great.
Was really great. Yes, he was a really great.
And Derrick Henry
also
looks
a Heisman winner
bigger,
and
stronger, faster version. He's the 2.0.
Oh, he's unbelievable. So there's a distinct Dolphin imprint on this postseason with Tannehill, Damian Williams, Laramie Tunsil was in the postseason up until yesterday, or a couple days ago. Whenever that was it yesterday, the Chiefs Texans game. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So but Matt Moore is the Kansas City Chiefs backup. So there's a little bit of a Dolphin flavor. But my favorite thing, by far, of this Dolphin season was beating the Patriots in New England, which not only was it great, not only was that a nice note to go out on for the Dolphins to see and to have Walt Aikens on Ryan Fitzpatrick's back, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is piggybacking Walt Aikens off of Gillette Stadium field, running into the tunnel, which was a really nice. The last couple of years, I will say this for the Dolphins, they've given us some good visual images to kind of end the season with. The Miami Miracle. With Kenyon Drake last year, and then this year, Walt Aikens piggybacking on Ryan Fitzpatrick, running both against the Patriots, which has been very nice for me. But the thing that was best about that, though, was that it just absolutely blew up the Patriots' postseason hopes, because it forced them to it forced them into the 3 seed, which forced them into having to host a wild card game. The Patriots have never won a Super Bowl having to play in the wild card. That trend continues. The Titans come in there, beat them. Mm-hmm. Bye-bye, Tom. Bye-bye, Bill. See you next year. Maybe. Who knows? With Tom Brady, I would assume he'll be there next year. But you know what? It takes another year off the calendar for Tom Brady and his potential to win a 7th Super Bowl.
And you are a fool if you don't think that Father Time is starting to catch up with him.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, we can put to rest the discussion about Father Time and Tom Brady. It's happening. Father Time, with the exception of Jaromir Jagr, is still undefeated. And even then, eventually Jaromir Jagr will die. So Father Time's going to win too. But
Federer's beaten Father Time a little bit too. I mean,
so is Nadal.
Yeah,
the two of them, the old guys in tennis, which is so strange because that is such a young man's sport. But yeah, so this was a nice, and listen, the Dolphins finished 5-11, which is not great, but it looks like for the first time in a while they actually have a legitimate coach who is actually going to receive Coach of the Year votes. He's not gonna win. He's gonna get some votes. I still think Mike Tomlin's gonna win, and I still think Mike Tomlin should win, but he's gonna get votes though. Flores is gonna get some votes for Coach of the Year. There's like no doubt about it. I wouldn't. He doesn't deserve it. You can't give that award to a team that's 5-11. I'm just sorry, you just can't. But that team. But let's be honest. There were guys like Dominique Foxworth, Mike Greenberg, and Steve Young who all labeled the Dolphins as tankers at the beginning of the season. They said they were being irresponsible, that they were putting players in harm's way. And where are those idiots now? And I have attacked all of those guys on Twitter. Steve Young's actually not on Twitter, but Foxworth and Mike Greenberg I have gone after with vitriol, and of course I'm a nobody, so they're not going to reply. But I have gone after them. I have called them cowards. I've done everything I can to debate them, but obviously, again, nobody here. So, but listen, as far as the Dolphins go, the season was bad, and it was, but there's still. They planted a seed of potential here. It looks like this team has potential. It looks like they have their coach. It looks like there are a lot of pieces on offense that are still good. Even on defense, too, there's some guys. So there's a lot to look forward to for the Dolphins, and you're going into what is now, for them, the most important draft that they have ever had. 3 first-round picks. Hopefully your quarterback of the future is there in Tua, if that's the guy they want. So we'll see. I'm very excited for this offseason. Free agent, the Dolphins have over $100 million in cap space, and they have 14 draft picks in this coming draft. 3 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders. Next year, they've got 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders. This is a big upcoming couple of years for the Miami Dolphins.
All right. Well, let's get back into the playoffs. So we have the Titans versus Baltimore. That was an absolute trouncing. And you got to say, obviously Ryan Tannehill, because we were talking about him. He was a big part of that game, but we can't really, if we're going to give credit to someone, we really need to give credit for basically 3 things.
The Titans offensive line.
I will give a big credit to Vrabel. He's doing an amazing job there.
Good coach.
A defensive guy too, and you can tell because that team is very defensive oriented, but he knows how to use his quarterback. He knows how to use his running back. He's good. He's doing a good job with what he has. And
he is getting the most out of Ryan Tannehill on a consistent basis, which is what Dolphins coaches could not do. Adam Gase, the self-professed quarterback whisperer, could not get this out of Ryan Tannehill. And this is what you hoped for from him, was that you could get, because Ryan Tannehill flashed, of course, in Miami. He'd have games where he could go nuts and you would say, okay, there's the guy that we all thought he was going to be. But he never did it consistently. But what you have seen since he took over for Mariota early on in the season, he has given you this, like, week in and week out. He has been consistently good.
And that's the thing that I think about with Ryan Tannehill, is that it's not like Ryan Tannehill is that much better of a quarterback than Mariota. He played so much better than him this year. I mean, you're talking Tannehill has completed 70% of his passes, 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had 117 quarterback rating, and that's the highest of his career. Whereas you look at the Marcus Mariota, completed 60% of his passes, 1,200 yards for 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. It's a good touchdown to interception ratio for the most part. It's about the same as what Tannehill was doing, but 92.3%. rating, QB rating. So I think for this game, in this postseason, really, you have to give the most credit to Vrabel. You have to give the credit to Henry, and their defense, because their defense has just been absolutely.
I mean, I got to throw their offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can. I just don't know how good Derrick Henry would be with or without him. I mean, he's an animal. He's an animal, and I think he can make a decent offensive line look amazing, because they had to. Every team is stuffing the box against them. They are coming after them. They're coming after Henry. They are coming after Derrick Henry. That is what their game plan is. And
it's not
they don't care, because they are still running through them. And that's how amazing they are.
It was interesting because a couple of weeks ago, before the Titans-Patriots game, my brother and I were talking about on the phone, and I was, and we were bringing up the point, because the big Belichick thing is, Belichick's going to take away your biggest threat. Mm-hmm. He's going to take away your weapon, and he's going to force you into trying to win the game in another way. And I remember I said to my brother, because I think he had said that on the phone, and I was like, I know that the Patriots are going to try to take Derrick Henry away. That's going to be their thing. I said
it doesn't matter.
and what I said to my brother is, but here's the thing, that is easier said than done. I don't know that they can take him away. He is an absolute beast. Mm-hmm. And he destroyed the Patriots. What did he rush for 195 yards on them or
200
something?
yards both games, right?
Oh my God, it's unreal. Yeah. Like, he's the star of this postseason as of right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that was a great game. It was fun to watch, just because you want to see things like if you're gonna have like a tough-nosed defense, I find that kind of a little boring from time to time. They are a good defense, but it's not like they do huge things. They good coverage. They get to the quarterback occasionally. It's a good defense that's just super sound. They know exactly what they're trying to do, but you get the breakout running game with Derrick Henry, and that is fun to watch. So that was good. Also, I would say the Vikings versus 49ers. That was a game I believe this game completely falls on coaching. And I do 100% believe Zimmer got 100% outcoached by Shanahan. This team, Vikings team, is so incredibly talented on offense and on defense. And I would say that the overall team of the Vikings is not head and shoulders talent-wise better than the 49ers, because I do think Debo is a really good.
That guy's a player.
I like him a lot.
So do I.
I think he's going to be really good going forward.
Weekend.
He's a beast. He's strong. He can catch the ball.
There's a fantasy guy for you next year. Man.
I picked him up early this year, and
if you have him in a keeper league, keep him.
I don't. Yeah, it's not a keeper league, unfortunately. But so Deebo Samuel, he's really fun to watch, really good, and I think that's going to be good going forward. I don't think Garoppolo's maybe he's not a top 10 quarterback, really. He's good, but he's not great. So I think that's good. And I think he's in the same lines as Cousins. He might have a little bit more pressure packed, that inside of you that just gets the job done late in games. He might have that, whereas Cousins kind of struggles with that from time to time. But I do 100% believe that the Vikings had a better team, and they did not adjust their game plan enough. And I think that, I know Thielen, he had good numbers, but he made a couple of bad mistakes. He didn't finish a route, which ended up leading to a pick. And that led to 3 points. That's a big deal in that kind of game, because the San Francisco 49ers defense is good. And he also dropped a ball that he should have caught. And that was another one that's just kind of like, you expect your main guys, Diggs and Thielen, not particularly Thielen, to catch balls that he can catch, that he can get to, he will catch them. And unfortunately that didn't happen. And, Cook was a non-issue. He did nothing that game. And I think that's what they were trying to do. I think they were trying to make sure that they couldn't run the ball, and they did a good job. And the Vikings did not change and were not able to come up with a game plan to get the ball down the field. And that's why they ended up pretty much getting spanked. I think Shanahan just completely outcoached Zimmer.
I was in the back of my head thinking, I was thinking, because I've been bad. I've been bad all year, man. I have had no faith in the 49ers all year. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it just hasn't happened. That team figures out ways to win games. And what's weird, too, is that they tend to, they can dominate games because their defense is so good. I actually was thinking the Vikings were going to win that game. I'm glad we actually didn't have to predict it because I probably would have picked the Vikings, especially because of the way they came off that game against the Saints, going into New Orleans, winning that game. A lot of people thought the Saints were going to go to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I don't know what to say about the Vikings. You have to wonder, like, what's, at yesterday's press conference with the Texans, a reporter asked Bill O'Brien, he said, what's missing? And he said he didn't know because obviously he wasn't going to throw himself under the bus and say, yeah, it's me. I'm a terrible coach and that's why we suck. But I also wonder if that question could have been asked of Zimmer with the Vikings, and to, like, what's missing? Like, you guys have a great defense. On offense, you've got every weapon you could want. Cousins kind of got the monkey off his back a little bit by going into New Orleans and winning that game and playing well. So what is missing for this Minnesota Viking team? What else do they need to do? Where is the hole that needs to be plugged? And again, like, you kind of have to sort of wonder, is it coaching? Now with the Texans, it's funny. You asked that question. I could probably say, well, I don't love their running back situation. Although Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson were a good combination this year. But I would still say, that might be an area to address. Wide receiver-wise, they're fine. You've got Will Fuller. You've got DeAndre Hopkins, who may be the best in the league. You've got Kenny Stills. You're pretty good there. Tight end situation maybe could work on a little bit. Defensively, JJ is getting old. He's becoming more of like a third down kind of player now.
Made noise though in the playoffs. He still made noise. He made some good
noise. It also wasn't 100% healthy either. So let's try to be fair there. Yeah. But it's very interesting. Like, both of those teams, one in the AFC, one in the NFC, who both you kind of have to look at the coaching and say, it was sort of a rhetorical question, Coach. We're saying you're the problem. In terms of Bill O'Brien, maybe the same thing with Zimmer too. They're very similar situations, at least as far as head scratching. Like, okay, well,
Texans have a better quarterback. I think that's
I would
agree. Guarantee.
I would agree with that.
It would be tough for somebody to make
and that's why it's harder for O'Brien maybe to answer the question, because their quarterback is better, I think. But who? I don't know. It's similar though. They're both really good teams.
The thing with the Texans, their defense isn't quite as good. Their defense, they have to put up points to win a game. They have a really good offense. They only put 22 points up against the Bills, but the Bills struggle.
And the Vikings got themselves into this hole too by having some, flubs in the regular season, got themselves to 10-6, and then had to go on the road to play in the divisional round. Yeah. Sorry, but you know what? Yes, I understand 6 seeds can get to and win Super Bowls even, but that is not the norm. The norm is getting one of those 1 or 2, getting your bye week, getting healthy, and then, no, listen, that didn't work out. It didn't work out for the Ravens this weekend. Okay. But but the bottom line is, for the most part, 1 and 2 seeds. 3 out of 4 of these teams are 1 and 2 seeds that are left. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
I'm very,
and I still think there's a very, very good chance that one of those teams, of those 1 or 2 seeds, is going to win the Super Bowl.
As of right now, I think we have some great matchups coming up next week, and we'll get to those in a few seconds. But the thing with the Texans is that their defense is not that good. They have a decent pass rush, but that's really it. So that's a tough thing. Even though they were up, 24-0 in like the first quarter or something like that. It was ridiculous. Yeah. It was so many points, and they were just piling on points. And like it seemed like it's like somebody sprayed WD-40 on the football or something like that, because everything was going through everybody's hands. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was really crazy.
And then the script completely flipped in that second quarter.
Well, and that's crazy. The thing. That's the great thing about Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. He gets down. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I got Kelsey. I got Hill. I have Watkins. I have so many weapons. Williams has even stepped up and been a very solid back for them.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just, they're really fun to watch. And no matter what the point total is, I would never count them out unless they were down by like 4 touchdowns with 5 minutes left to play. Because if they can put up points so incredibly quick.
Yeah.
And I mean, defense, they're not terrible. With Ward and Matthew out there, that's a decent. Those are some decent guys to have in your secondary. Their linebacking core isn't great, but they have Clark, who's really good at getting to the quarterback. Like they have a really good team. It's average on defense, but it's exceptional on offense. And I really want to see them get to the Super Bowl.
That was somewhat of a spoiler for me as far as what did we learn. I was actually going to say the one thing I learned is that I think the Chiefs are going to be very, very, very hard to beat in these remaining whatever's left of their season. Let's call it 2 games. Because the thing that I learned is that there is almost not a lead, like you just said, that is insurmountable for them.
And there's not a defense that they can't score on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nobody can keep up with Hill. Nobody.
No.
And nobody can stop Kelsey. Like he's so big.
But the bottom line is let's be honest too. The Chiefs, I love what the Chiefs did yesterday because they showed me a couple of things. Unlike the Ravens, who got punched in the mouth and could not get up. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs got punched in the mouth like Clubber Lang style and got up hardcore and kicked the crap out of them. Like
20.
that they beat them by 20 in a game where they were down 20, where they spotted the other team 24.
After they spotted them 24, the score, if you just take that first 24 points out, it was 51-7.
Yeah. Oh, it was
ridiculous.
It was. They basically said we're gonna give you the first quarter to do whatever you want.
You know what was awesome about this?
And we're not even gonna try.
Is that they did something that they don't typically do a lot of in the regular season, and that was Patrick Mahomes running the ball, because like typically he just kind of waits for the offense to kind of make its way, but he saw openings and he just took off. And he was like 16-yard gains, 8-yard gains, 20-yard gains.
If I had told you two things. One, that the score after the first quarter was going to be 24-0 Texans. Mm-hmm. And 2, that game, the final result, not telling you who won, but that the final result was going to be a blowout. And I said, put a gun to your head and tell me what that is going to mean. I know you would have said that means the Texans are going to blow the Chiefs out, because that's what I would have said. 24-0. I mean, how do you?
Deshaun Watson, Hopkins,
and it was a blowout, but it was the Chiefs winning by 20.
Fuller, they got a lot too. They got a lot of offensive weapons and
unbelievable.
And the Chiefs defense really stood up. They really made a stand and really held them and did work. I mean, it was just incredible.
It was funny. So when the Titans won, when they went into Baltimore and they won, I put out a tweet and I said, I'm starting to feel like this is the Andy Reid / Chiefs destiny train. Mm-hmm. And then I put after that, I said, let's see how well this ages. And then it was 24-0 Texans. And I'm like, boy, that tweet did not take long to not age well. But then the Chiefs made me look good by scoring like 51 points and really, really sending the signal in this postseason that they are clearly, of these 4 teams left, they're the team to beat.
Yeah. All right.
They're the team to beat.
So let's get into the last couple of games. I mean, we talked about everything. We didn't talk about the Packers, but we can get into the Packers. I mean, well, let's talk about them a little, because that was the 2 quarterbacks that you were kind of really out of any of the games that were going on. Yes, Watson and Mahomes, that's great, but like you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers going up against one of the best in the game right now. You have like 2 top 5 quarterbacks going head to head. I don't think Watson's a top 5 quarterback yet. So, you have Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson going head-to-head. Both similar teams. Both decent defenses. Both incredibly accurate and amazing, just improvisers on as a quarterback. They both have weapons.
Significantly better weapons, though, with the Packers. I mean, between Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, those guys are. I mean, there's no. I mean, I like Marshawn Lynch, and I like Homer, and I like Lockett and Metcalf, but they're not on that level.
They're close, though. It's close. I would say.
Well, the problem is there's a big gap between Devontae Adams and either Lockett or Metcalf.
But then they're both better than the secondary top receivers. I will give Graham. The thing that I was really impressed with is that you actually got to see Jimmy Graham be what you wanted to see him be over the course of the last few years.
And he had the game clinch and catch.
He had and that which. A bit of a homer. The referees kind of blew that one a little bit. Regardless, I don't think it mattered. It didn't really matter.
Probably not. They would have gone for it anyway.
Yeah, they would have, and I don't think it really mattered. I mean, it would have been 4th and inches, and I do think it was 4th and inches. He was not there. It was clear, and they did not.
Well, but it's fine. Funny? So you know what was funny about that call? So they do the first review, and then they're like, the ruling on the field stands, and then they give you this other weird. They were like, well, we got some new footage. But we are not. But the call still stands. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. So the footage you got must have been the one that they showed right at the end of the broadcast, just before, where it actually does show that
his head was on the line,
right?
And his
head was on the line. The ball is short.
And
I'm like, okay, so that must have been the new footage they got, but that wasn't enough to change it for you because that looks pretty clear. I
do think they were going to win. In my mind, there was. There's a 1% chance. And granted, if there's a 1% chance, you should still play it, but...
Yeah. The only thing that bothered me about last night's game was actually not that call, but I just wanted to see Russell Wilson get the ball back. Just to see what would have happened.
Things happen.
Just to see what would have happened, because it was 28-23, and to see him, knowing that he had no timeouts, but he would have had about 2 minutes, and just to see what he could have done.
Yeah,
that would have made it, because either way it would have been fun.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether the Packers won or if
score a touchdown, that's just so tough.
It's tough against a solid defense, but you liked the way that game was trending because the Seahawks went on a little bit of a run there. They were able to score 21 straight points to get themselves back into that game. And I just wanted to see Russ get the chance there at the end. That's all I wanted. I was really, really rooting hard for the Packers not to convert either of those first downs that they converted, because I just wanted to see Russell Wilson get the opportunity, and it didn't.
It was fun. I mean, I'm glad.
Otherwise, it was a good game.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, we're a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm very happy for the coach. LaFleur is, first year taking his team. I guess we could talk about McCarthy going to the Cowboys, which is interesting. But
I think
maybe we'll save it for another day. What's that?
I think that's a good hire for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fine.
The only thing I can't figure out is why the hell did it take Jerry Jones so damn long to get rid of Jason Garrett? I mean, listen, I understand you love the guy like a son.
Freddie Kitchens, too.
But you got to just rip the Band-Aid. Just rip the damn Band-Aid off. Yeah. By the way, the one thing I'm happy about most in this offseason's coaching carousel is that Josh McDaniels did not get a job. Because that proves to me, because, listen, you can say whatever you want. Yes, he interviewed and all that stuff, but the bottom line is, what that guy did to the Colts a couple of years ago, people have not forgotten. Owners have not forgotten, and I'm happy about that. Because you know what? At the end of the day, he's still going to be the Patriots offensive coordinator this year. He is not going to be a head coach in the NFL. Yeah. Not yet.
Keith Sherry likes the Cowboys signing of McCarthy. I do
too.
I think it's a good signing. I don't think it's great. I think he'll be a good fit there for a short term. I don't think he's going to be more than 3 years, because I don't think him and Jerry are going to see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I think he's going to really push Jerry, and that's going to happen with all the other coaches that push Jerry.
That's good for Jerry. Yeah, I know. But
he gets sick of, even if they win Super Bowls,
he gets
sick of them, and he's like, I'm out. I want somebody that I can just deal with. Like
Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson. He pushed out. We can say Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson now.
Yes,
and he gets
excited about that.
That was, by the way, that was a really nice moment for him. The way they did that. Listen. I mean, Jimmy Johnson was the Dolphins coach for a few years, and I liked Jimmy there. Jimmy had it tough, though, because
he's a super talented coach.
he came in, and I know what he wanted to do. He wanted to trade Marino. He wanted to trade Marino the way he wanted to trade Herschel Walker, but he couldn't do it because Dan Marino was South Florida. Herschel Walker, that was a at the time it was kind of difficult, I think, because it was like, well, you're trading our best player here, but Dan Marino is he is South Florida. He is still South Florida. Like, I don't care what Dwayne Wade's done. I don't care what Shaquille O'Neal did. And those guys won championships. LeBron. Dan Marino is South Florida, and that's without a championship.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson could not do that. So Jimmy Johnson was behind the 8 ball when he got to Miami. But I will tell you, I was really happy, though. I was really happy yesterday for Jimmy. The way that they did that, and I don't love Jimmy the way I love Don Shula, but I appreciated Jimmy. And, Jimmy had a tough go of it there. It was just not easy for him in Miami. But I recognize that he was an unbelievably great coach. And the thing that actually kind of touched me even more than his reaction, which was very emotional, was Troy Aikman's reaction. Yeah. Who is you sitting there, he's watching the monitor, and you can see he was tearing up. Yeah. He was really emotional. That was a really cool thing for them to do, and a really nice way for them to break that news to him. And the only thing that'll make me happier is if in a couple of weeks we find out that Zach Thomas is a Hall of Famer, which I believe he should be. But we'll see. So that was good for Jimmy. But I think McCarthy is he's a safe hire. But I also think he's a good hire, though, too.
He's going to do well. I mean, the thing is that the good thing about him is that you're not going to have, like, Dak is going to be more under control now. He's not going to have it over, like, he's not over McCarthy, whereas he was kind of head and shoulders over Garrett. McCarthy's coming in and he's going to be like, he went head to head with Aaron Rodgers, arguably one of the best of all time at the quarterback. And Dak isn't even a top 15 quarterback.
It's not even remotely on that level.
And so he's coming in there. He's going to be like, you're going to run it this way. We're going to really rely on Zeke. And we're going to go bananas. That's how we're going to do it. And when we throw, we're going to be throwing where I want you to throw it. And that's kind of, and I think that'll be good for Dak. That's why I think they're going to be better. I don't know if they will be able to go all the way, though, because I just don't think McCarthy's that guy.
I'd like to address Keith's question, which was, I was going to ask, do you see Dak and Cooper coming back, or do you think Mike is going to give them the boot? Well, so I think Dak does come back. I do, because I think
it's a good fit for McCarthy.
It's if you let him go, then you really have to reset and find another quarterback. And I just don't see that happening. Now, Cooper, I think he's gone, but I think that's because he's going to command so much on the open market that I just don't know if the Cowboys, with having to dedicate the money that they gave to Zeke and the money they're going to have to give to Dak, I just don't know if there's going to be enough left for Cooper. And I think he's going to go because I just think some team is going to, maybe like the Bills, who really have a need. I think some team is going to blow Amari Cooper away, give him a ton of guaranteed money, and I just don't think that the Cowboys can compete with that financially because I just don't think they have the cap space.
That'd be nice. It'd be nice to have. All right, so let's get into Keith said Cooper to the Ravens would be a good fit as well. Yeah.
That would be a good fit.
There's a Cooper to any team is taking you to another level.
But Lamar Jackson would love that.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are out there
so
that could really use a number one guy.
Imagine Lamar Jackson with Cooper as his wide receiver 1, Hollywood Brown 2, and then you've got Mark Andrews, who's one of the best tight ends in the league. That would really make that offense scarier than it is.
If Cooper doesn't come back to the Cowboys next year, I would almost say you're not going to see the playoffs for a couple of years because they need him.
There's just going to be such a big market for him, and they're going to have. The bottom line is they have to make a choice. It's not an issue. It's a salary cap issue. Of course, of course, he has the money. Right. It's just a cap issue, and I just don't think. Listen, there's only. You can, but
backload contract.
But if you pay Dak and Cooper, you're really going to put yourself in some cap hell to the point where you pay
Dak. So if Dak wants $40 million, you're not giving there is no way.
But even if he doesn't want 40, he's going to get 30. He's going to get 30.
He shouldn't.
Oh,
He's worse than Kirk Cousins.
I don't disagree with any of that, but you know he's going to. Though.
Well, I don't know where else he would get it. What other team is going to pay him that money?
Yeah.
I can't see another team paying him. I just can't.
Josh Allen was better than Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Changed my mind. I mean, it was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, but all I can say is I know I'd rather have Lamar Jackson. But,
yeah. He would have gotten his big contract if this season never happened. Yes, because this is who he is. That's the reason why.
By the way, we only have about 12 minutes left, so we should probably try and jump into our.
Let's get into the predictions for next week. All right, so we got a couple of matchups coming up.
The conference championships are upon us.
Titans versus Chiefs and the Packers versus 49ers. We will get into that right now. Let's hear your talk about Titans Chiefs. I don't think this is going to be too long. I think we both probably have the same victor here. I think the next one, the NFC matchup is going to be a little bit more dicey here. But what do you got? What do you got for the conference championship, AFC conference championship?
As much as I have enjoyed this Titans run, and as much as I have enjoyed, and I love Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry got me $500 this year, so I'm really happy with Derrick Henry. And what's funny is I only came in third place, but because our league has a millionaire who puts extra money into it, third place gets $500. So that's Derrick Henry, and I get to keep him too. He's a keper for me next year. So
that's a good one. So I'll give you the over under 2 right now. Kansas City is favored by 7.5. And the over under is 52. This is after the Chiefs scoring 51 on themselves.
Yeah. So
on a bad defense. Then.
So what I was saying was, as much as I have enjoyed this Titans run and seeing Tannehill do what he's done and seeing Derrick Henry do what he has done, I think it comes to an end, a crashing halt. In fact, this weekend. Kansas City is Arrowhead is one of the toughest buildings to play in. This past weekend was total proof of that when that team was down 24-0 and that place was still in full throat and they ended up when you spot a team 24 points in the playoffs, you're going to lose. And not only did the Chiefs not lose, they completely ran the Texans out of the building and they spotted them 24 points in a full quarter and they just destroyed them. That just does not happen. That does not bode well for any team having to play the Chiefs. And it especially does not bode well for a 6 seed having to go on the road into Arrowhead and have to play that team. I got the Chiefs winning this game 34-20. So I'm giving you the over on points, and I'm telling you that they're going to easily cover that 7.5.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I am also. I'm with you. I have the Chiefs winning this. It's not going to be a blowout. No, it's going to be a blowout. This is. I think that it'll be tight in the first half, but I think as the time goes on, the Titans' defense is going to wear thin. I do think Henry's going to probably have another big game. I mean, they are going to try and stop him. They're going to make Ryan Tannehill beat them, and I don't see that really working out.
What's funny? Yeah. If you could tell me that Derrick Henry is going to have another game just like he had, like maybe run for 195 yards, and I still tell you the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, because I think this is the problem, is that even if Derrick Henry is helping them control the clock, the Chiefs can score so fast.
So fast.
They can score with a punt return, with a kick return. They have 2 great returners. They can easily run a play down the line, an out for Watkins, who runs the ball for a 92-yard touchdown. They could have Hill, who's faster than Watkins, and he can run past anybody. They have Kelsey. They have so many darn weapons. I just can't see the Titans holding them down. I think that they have a great defense. I just don't see them being able to hold them down. I'm going to say that the Chiefs win this one 34-18. I do think that
So we're close. We're close.
Yeah, I think that the Titans will put some points up on the board, particularly in the first half. But I think when they get behind by 10 points or more, they might be more inclined to throw, and that's when they could get in trouble. Now, granted, Tannehill has been good. He's not thrown many picks this year. This is his best year ever, and I do think he's more coachable than Mariota was, and I think that that is a huge deal for Vrabel. Yeah. Now, this is a game where I just think the offense is just going to usually defense wins. The Chiefs' defense is decent.
Yep.
So I think they're gonna handle that well enough. Yeah. And their offense is just way too strong for the Titans. And I don't think that the Titans are going to be able to hold on deep into the game. I think it'll be close first half, close-ish, and then like against against the Texans, the floodgates opened. And once that happens, it's tough to stop them because then your defense is tired.
And even though the Titans are a team capable of putting points on the board, as they showed us this weekend, they scored 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns wouldn't be enough to beat the Chiefs anyway. But I still don't think though that's the Titans' bread and butter is not scoring points. Their bread and butter is clock control, pounding you with their running game, and probably hoping to win a tight game. It just doesn't play well here on the road. I wouldn't even like their chances if this game was in Tennessee. So,
all right, let's get into the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is a matchup that we have seen a lot throughout the years in the playoffs. Young versus Favre, Montana. All these tremendous quarterbacks that have come through. Sometimes the Green Bay Packers win. Sometimes the 49ers win. In their matchups and their history, I think the Packers are like 36-31 versus the 49ers. But this right now, the San Francisco 49ers are favored by 7 points, and the over-under is 45. Who you got?
This is also a rematch of a mid-season game where the Packers went into San Francisco. It might have been a Monday night game. And I remember when we predicted this game, I was like, this is where I believe what I then thought to be very flawed 49er team was going to get exposed by a really good Packer team.
Yeah.
And the 49ers kicked the shit out of them, 37-8. It was just a beating. That game was not even close. And it was at that point that I said, maybe I need to stop doubting the 49ers because they keep winning games against good teams. They keep beating good teams.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what,
man.
I think I've learned my lesson here because I've doubted the 49ers all year. I kept saying at some point they're going to get exposed. Something's going to happen. And they just never led up to the tune of 13-3. They won that division by literally an inch over the Seahawks. And they got the 1 seed, and now they are hosting again the Packers in. I'm sorry, I'm going to call it Candlestick because that's Candlestick Park, baby. But listen, I think this is actually going to be a really, really great game. I do not believe that Chiefs-Titans game is going to be a great joy to watch. This game, I think this game is this. I believe
anytime Patrick Mahomes on the field, it's fun to watch.
Sure, in that sense, yes. But I think this is going to be the game of the weekend. I think this is going to be an NFC Championship game that is going to be talked about for years to come. I think it's going to be a heavyweight battle. I think it's going to be back and forth and back and forth. I don't think you're going to get that blowout that you saw on November 24th. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a tight game. In the end, though, the team that I have doubted all year, the San Francisco 49ers, I believe will punch their ticket to the Super Bowl, and I believe they are going to win this game 27-26 over the Packers in Candlestick.
27-26, huh? Over the Packers?
Yes.
All right. And what did you have for the score for the Chiefs?
34-20.
All right.
So that's my Super Bowl, Chiefs 49ers, which, hey, if that's the case, you could make the argument that those were the two best teams in football anyway.
Yeah.
Certainly from the 49ers perspective, it's an easy argument because they were the 1 seed, but the way the Chiefs ended the season and played it, and the fact that the Ravens they were one and done, you could say, hey, maybe the two best teams really are playing each other. If that's the way it works out.
All right.
And the Packers are also a 13-3 team. So if they get there, you could say, well, two seeds playing against each other would be a pretty great Super Bowl. Either way. So.
I am with you here, kind of. I think that it's going to be a great game. That's where we differ. Okay. This is where we come to differ. I think that regular season game, I think you're going to see a different Packers team.
So do I.
I think that you saw it a little bit yesterday where Jimmy Graham was a little more involved, and he was getting amped up, getting involved in that. You saw it, and Parker is an amazing talent. Not Parker, it's Adams. I always get Parker, Devontae, those Devontaes.
They may be the two best receivers in the league.
Well, maybe. I mean, Parker is good. He's really good. Very underrated.
He's a damn animal. What a deal the Dolphins got him for 4 years, $40 million. They extended him.
Kept on getting hurt and stuff like that. He wasn't able to stay healthy for a little while, and then came back.
Health has always been the issue.
Yeah. He's up there. Like him and Amari Cooper are like similar talents.
He's a top 5.
So I actually have the Packers winning this one 28-25, and I'm going to tell you right now that I think that this is going to be one of those things where the Packers will come out on fire, and then they will slowly change their game plan like they usually do. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be who Aaron Rodgers is, and he's going to come out and he's going to control this game. And I think you're going to have Garoppolo, who is going to be under the lights, which I do think he's going to shine most of the time. I do think that he has that in him. I think he has that kind of, that the confidence in him that you need, and that kind of in a quarterback and in a leader. I don't think he's as good as Aaron Rodgers. And I do think that Aaron Rodgers has more weapons on offense. I think that that's going to help. I think their defenses, I do think the 49ers defense is better.
Yeah.
I think that they are better than the Packers defense, but the Packers defense isn't bad. They are a good defense. And I really like the way that this team's going to look. I don't think you're going to see anywhere near the same matchup in this game that you did in the regular season. I think you almost
I agree with that too.
I think it's almost like it's not, I don't think that they thought about this, but I think it's almost like we did with in the past, which is like the setup game for the postseason, So I think that, like I said, 28-25, Green Bay Packers win this one. I think it's going to be close down to the wire. Who knows if Garoppolo has it? They miss a field goal. I don't know. But I do think that it's going to be really close, and I'm really looking forward to that game as well. All right. So we have to get out of here.
Yep.
I don't know what happened there. But we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and whatever you did, however you took this in.
Yep.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys again soon. We're not going to be here on Friday, but we are going to start doing something a little bit more it's more sensitive to, it's not sensitive, like time sensitive. We're going to be doing some stuff like lists and things like that in addition to our sports talk. So first half will probably always be sports. And then we're going to get into some other thing like Mount Rushmores, the Rotten Tomato game that we do, all that kind of stuff to have some fun with it. But we will be doing that soon. So let us know if there's anything that you want us to talk about with a Mount Rushmore. Put it in the comment section if you want us to do whatever. I don't care. Can be sorts, can be sports. We can get into it. And then Rotten Tomato games, what movies that you like that are rated high, that you think should be rated higher, or which ones do you think that are rated too high? Let us know what you think. Sound off in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about it. We'll be getting into all that stuff soon. We will see you again soon. Not Friday. Fryman's not here. So we will be back probably Monday to talk, recap on this week, the AFC Championship games. And then we have 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. So we'll come up with some lists. We got some lists coming. All right. Oh, WWE and AEW. All right.
Keith, I will do a Royal Rumble preview next Monday. Yeah, we'll do that.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Part of the journey is the end. Stay classy, play to glow. Bye.